do, just shooting a quick little recording of our website wireframe mock-ups that we did today in class. Remember, we downloaded the 2 screenshots that I made inside of keepamericabeautiful.org just as templates we could use to design the wireframes for our nonprofits using our Pantone colors, our logo design, and the information on our nonprofit website. So let's go ahead and do a quick little recording. We did both the home page and an interior page design for class today. So the first thing we did was open up that PNG and we named it our Keep Flory Beautiful homepage. So we named it our nonprofit homepage and saved it as a Photoshop file. So let's go to the desktop, change this to a Photoshop file, and we're going to go ahead and save that. Now, in class, we went in and we started to deconstruct this wireframe. So remember, this is called our masthead, our top navigation, and our branding area. So we did an edit fill, and we filled it in white, and then we started to kind of reconstruct the top area of our design. And we did that first by taking a version of our logo. Remember, if you had a horizontal version, that is the best version to take. So we're going to copy that out of Illustrator and go into Photoshop and do Edit, Paste, and we are going to paste it as a smart object. So remember, paste it as a smart object. So here is our logo. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Now, remember, we have to keep a little wiggle room between the edge of our design. So we're going to keep it off the edge just a little bit. It's okay if it bleeds into our primary navigation area because this is all going to be written in code if it was to come to life. So we just placed our logo kind of up here in the corner of our wireframe design. So here's the beginning of our redesign. Now, let's name this logo. And let's name this template layer. Right? So we have our logo and our template layer. Now, the next thing we did was we went into Illustrator and we went into our swatches library. And we picked one of the colors from our swatches library as being the Pantone color for our website mockup. So we want to make sure we use our Pantone colors, and we want to make sure we use the same fonts that are in our style guide, just to be consistent with branding. So I'm going to take this blue. So I'm going to double click on it, and you'll notice that there's a hex number right here when you double click on the swatch. I'm going to copy that hex number. And then I'm going to go into Photoshop and I'm going to click on my foreground swatch. And right over here, I'm going to paste in that hex number. So now my foreground color is the same color as my hex number color or my Pantone swatch from my brand manual. And I'm going to go in and add a new layer and call it Navigation Stripe, or we could name it Stripe 1. And we're going to use our rectangular marquee tool. And we're going to fill this in. So let's zoom in, make sure we get all of it. So I'm going to draw my box here. And I'm going to do Edit, Fill, and we're going to fill it in with the foreground color, which is the blue. So there is the blue. Here is my logo right here. Now in class, we went in and added a new layer, and we named this one Stripe 2. Stripe 2 is going to be the color up there. So let's go into our Illustrator file, and I'm going to find the soft green, and I'm going to copy this hex number and click OK. And go into Photoshop and change my foreground color to the new green. So there is the new green. Now in Stripe 2, I'm going to take my rectangular marquee tool and I'm going to draw a box across that area and do Edit, Fill, and we're going to do foreground color, and there is Stripe 2. Now in class, we went in And over in our layers palette over here, we changed the opacity and made it a little softer. So it was still there, but it wasn't so powerful. So there it is at about 30%. Now, the next thing we did in our interactive lecture was we put in our social media icons over here. So I'm going to go out to my Chrome, and I'm going to type in Facebook icon because my nonprofit has a Facebook icon. I'm going to save that over to the desktop. And while I'm at it, I'm going to do the Instagram too. Now, we chose to pick, if we chose black and white, we did black and white for both of the icons. So let's just do the black and white all by itself. So there it is. And so now I'm going to open up the Facebook icon in Illustrator. And remember, we used the magic wand tool to click on the black area and copy it. Now, one of the students did ask, so I'm going to paste it. Here it is. One of the students in class asked about changing the color of it to matching the color of our website or our brand manual. Now, we could go in, and I'm just going to do it so you can see. I'm going to pick this orangish brown, and I'm going to copy the hex number. Now, Photoshop, if you do a black or a solid color logo like blue for Facebook, this one is the Facebook icon. So I'm going to tape this Facebook icon, Stripe 2, navigation logo. I'm going to move that up just so it's up there. If you double click in the gray area, you can do a color overlay. So you see how that's gray now? If I click on this little swatch, I can paste that brown color, that orangish brown color. And now it's the color of my style guide. So now if I open this one up and use my magic wand tool, and I'm going to hold down Shift so that I can get all the black area. I'm going to copy it, go back to my Move tool, paste it, and I'm going to scale it down so it's the same size as my Facebook. I'm going to hit return, and then I'm going to do Instagram. And I'm going to double click in that area, and I'm going to do the same color overlay. So you can change your icons to match your style guide. Zoom in, I'm going to move this over just a skosh. Now, after we set up our logo and so here's our logo. As a smart object, we did our first stripe in our Pantone color from the style guide, our second stripe from our Pantone color style guide. We went in and we went to our nonprofit. So I'm going to do my new window, and I'm going to do Keep Rome Floyd Beautiful. And we went into ours and we looked at our primary navigation. So this is our primary navigation right here. So I could actually copy that. And then using my text tool, I could paste it. And so in class we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we did 7 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We also changed it down to 24 point, and we changed it to the font that is in our style guide. We wanted to use one of the 2 fonts in our style guide. We also made it white, and we moved it so that it was positioned inside of centered in our stripe. We also went in, if we wanted to, and we modified the names of the buttons. So I actually went with beautification, litter reduction, recycling, and about us. just to simplify their navigation a little bit. Make sure it's in the middle of our stripe, and let's find a nice happy spot in the middle there. Now, the next thing we did is we went back to our template layer and we got rid of this area of our image. So I'm going to move this up just to make sure, and I'm going to hit delete. And we had a checkerboard here, which meant transparent. So once we had transparent, we opened up each of our images inside of our photography folder in our style guide area, right? We opened up our images inside of here, and we copied and pasted them into our template. So I'm going to do, I don't have the images on my work, my office computer, so Rome, Georgia. I'm going to copy a couple of images to the desktop. So I'm going to take this one, dump it over there, because that was one of the ones I used. I used downtown. These are the ones that are inside of my style guide. So I'm going to do 3 images just so that we have at least 3 pictures inside of our wireframe. So I'm going to do continue. I'm going to do select all, which is Command A, Command C to copy, and then we're going to go into our template and we're going to paste. So here is my picture. Now remember, in class we took that picture layer and we put it under our template. So here's my template layer. I'm just going to move it above my picture layer, and so now you can see the picture. So I'm just going to move that over a little bit. I'm going to close my Instagram, close my Facebook icon, and so then I'm going to go in and take my second picture, Command A, Command C, Command V, here it is. Now I have a big version of this inside of my style guide, but for the sake of the process, and remember, move this one down below our template layer. And so there is our second picture. I'm going to drop that in right about there. And now I'm going to take our third picture, open that up in Photoshop, Command A, Command C, and then Command V. Here's our picture. And so now we have our logo, we have 2 color stripes that match our Pantone colors, we have our primary navigation, we have 2 social media icons, and we have 3 pictures in our new template. Now, in class, we went into our template, and this bottom area, we made 1 Pantone color, 1 solid color. So let's go into our Pantone library, and let's see which one we want. Maybe we'll do the dark green. So let's copy this hex number. And let's go into our fill color and paste our hex number. So there it is, a little bit darker. And we did edit, fill, and we filled it in with our color. Now, so we have 3 Pantone colors. This one was a Pantone color. This was a Pantone color from our style guide. This was a Pantone color from our style guide. And I actually used this one too as a Pantone color. So we used, I actually like the brown. I think I'm going to do the brown for that stripe. So I'm going to take this hex number, double click here, take this hex number, and go back to Photoshop. And I'm going to use that color. I like the brown, orangish brown. Edit fill. Let's make sure we have our layer selected. Now, the last part of our homepage wireframe is we put our mission statement in text here. Now, remember, this is one of our fonts in our style guide. So the mission statement or the vision statement or the main statement that our nonprofit uses as kind of like its elevator pitch is the one we're going to use down here. So I'm going to go keep Rome Floyd. And for me, it was this activate, educate statement, this thing right here. And so I copied this one, but some of you have a mission statement you're able to copy out of your nonprofit website. So let's use our text tool and we'll drop this in. Now, you can choose the second font from your font library or from your style guide. The reason we did 2 typefaces, my other one's Times, so I use Avenir and Times, was that we had the flexibility of doing 2 typefaces in our design. So I'm going to move this to the middle. And there is our design for our homepage wireframe. Now, we're going to save this, and then in our style guide in additional resources, so I'm going to delete that. I'm going to do File, Place, and I'm going to take my home page and I'm going to drop it in right there. And so now you'll see the logo, you'll see our logo here, you'll see the color palette, you'll see our color palette here, so it's consistent use of elements. Now, once we created all of these elements, we went into layer and we flattened the image. The reason we flattened the image was it gave us the ability to copy our navigation bar that we created. So we're going to copy that and we're going to go into our interior information page and we're going to paste our toolbar, our new masthead. And so in class, we then took that masthead and we made it a little bit bigger. And so now we have the same masthead in both the interior page and the home page. And then we went in and we did edit, fill, and we filled this white. So we covered that up. We did edit, fill, and we made that white just to cover that up. We actually did edit, fill here too, and covered that up. And then we covered up the title to the page. Made that white. And that was so we could then go in and write our own. So about keep Rome Floyd beautiful. And so I'm going to highlight this. I don't know if I still have the hex number saved. Nope. So let's do this. I'm going to copy it from here. And there we go. And I'm going to move that up. Now remember, the title to our page has to be one of our 2 fonts. So I'm going to keep it as Times New Roman because the navigation bar is Avenir. And then we went in and we copied one picture to place it. So select all, copy, so that our template has an image side to the information page. So I'm going to do that. And then we went in and we copied some text. So I did our story and I copied the first paragraph here. And this is just to have text. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to choose left aligned. I'm going to choose about 16 point and I'm going to make it black. And so this was strictly, and I'm going to select all. I'm going to change this to regular and I'm going to change it to Avenir. So with Avenir is kind of dainty, so I am going to go to 18 point and I'm going to go to medium so that it looks like normal font. And then I'm just going to make this a paragraph. So for our interior information page, we used our font, we copied a paragraph of text, and we filled it in over in our information side. And so then we save this, file, save as. We named it our nonprofit, Keep Rome Floyd Beautiful, interior page as a PSD. So now we have the home page and the interior page done. And in our style guide, we did file place, and we placed our interior page. So let's find our interior page. There it is. And we just drew a little box for our interior page. And we dropped it in over here. And so now you can see our style guide. We have our logos, we have our color palette, our font, our symbols. The one in the lab, I have my photography placed. The one in the lab, I have my ad or poster over here. I have my flower here. Now, we're going to create next class a flyer using Adobe InDesign to put over here. So we'll have our poster, we'll have our texture, and we'll have our flyer over here. So we will have the primary pieces to all of our pieces in our style guide. So Sunday we will turn in, or after class on Thursday, we will turn in your style guide with the newly created wireframes and the poster flyer that we're going to make in InDesign in class on Thursday. Okay, gang, have a